Okay, guys, the next thing I want to talk about is weather and turbulence. Very quickly, nobody likes turbulence. Pilots don't like turbulence. You know, we don't like it, and we do our best to avoid any turbulence, to make it smooth for us, to make it smooth for passengers. You know, we just don't like turbulence. Apart from that, turbulence and constant shaking of the aircraft in bad turbulence degrades the structure over many years. So we also want to protect the airframe and the aircraft and make it last longer and reduce maintenance costs and all that. Just like a vehicle driving on the roads, you want to avoid roads that have a lot of bumps, potholes and things like that, because eventually it degrades the vehicle. The shock absorbers start to leak and that kind of stuff. So you want to avoid all that kind of stuff. So we don't like turbulence as pilots, and we'll do our best to avoid it. Most turbulence, of course, is from bad weather, as in thunderstorms and so on. So 747-8 simulator now, just put some weather ahead of the aircraft, and I'll show you some of the strategies we do as pilots when there's weather around. Sometimes there's weather around and it could be a whole line of storms, and you just have to pick your way through the least affected area to avoid being stuck in turbulent air for long. So you traverse the area. Sometimes you have to traverse the area and get to the other side, otherwise you never get to destination, because it's a long line. It might be 300 miles that way and 400 miles that way to try and go around it. So you might have to pick an area that might only expose the aircraft to a little bit of turbulence for a short period. If it's really bad, you might just have to divert and land somewhere anyway, if it's really bad, because it can actually affect the structure of the aircraft. So anyway, there it is. I put a thunderstorm cloud in front of the aircraft, and that's what it looks like outside. In the airplane, on the weather radar, it looks like this. Okay, on the navigation display. So it's 80 miles away. It's 40 miles away, the actual weather. It's on the 80-mile range, but the weather is 40 miles away. Now, ordinarily, we would have picked this up much earlier and would have asked ATC for a diversion to go to the left or to the right, to go around it and avoid this area of weather here. Okay, that's normally what the pilots would do. We would talk to ATC, Cathay so-and-so, request deviation 10 miles or 15 miles or even just a heading to avoid weather. ATC might say, how far do you want to go? What heading would you like to take up? And we'd tell them what heading simply by looking over here. If I look here, we're currently flying heading 088 sort of, and if I turn left here to 060 or something, or 050 to give it a wide berth from the cloud, that could avoid the weather. The other thing we could do is we could go on the cross track, offset track here. So it's select route and say, normally we look at it and say, no, I wonder how much we want. So I might say left, let's see, left 15 miles to the left, and let's see what it will give us. Well, 15 miles to the left still puts us in the weather. As you can see, the airplane would turn, and that's 15 miles to the left. No, that's not enough. So I would say, let's have a look at 20 miles, left 20, left 20. And left 20 still makes us clip the weather a little bit here, which we don't want. So let's ask ATC for 30 miles to the left of track to avoid weather. Okay, let's do that. So let me increase the range, let's see, just to make sure there's nothing behind. Okay, there's nothing behind, so if we take 30 miles left, that might be all right. Okay, let's try that. So left 30 miles left of track. Put it in there. Ah, that looks better. Let's try that. We would then ask ATC, Cathay, request Cathay 236 request deviation left 30 miles to avoid weather. ATC would come back if it's possible and we're not infringing any restricted areas and so on, and say Cathay so and so 30 miles left of track approved. So it would come here. So there's our 30 miles to the left, and I would then execute this, and the aeroplane would make a left turn and start tracking. The aeroplane would immediately turn left and start, as you can see there, it's in a left bank now, to go 30 miles to the left. So ATC gave us the approval, I selected it on, and the aeroplane is now turning, as you can see there, to try and avoid the weather. If we felt we needed more, we'd ask ATC for further deviation. You can see the aeroplane is in a left turn there, and we're turning left, and we'll be going to the left of that weather to avoid. Okay, there it is. In a left turn. As a precaution, when there's weather ahead like this, the crew will put the seatbelt sign on, and in the cabin you'll see the seatbelt sign come on, and maybe an announcement might be made to you to say we're approaching an area of turbulence, please return to your seat, and so on. So let's have a look at that. Seatbelts on. Passenger sign, seatbelts on. And you all go back to your seats. The cabin come through the cabin to make sure everyone's sitting down and they've got their seatbelts on and so on, to avoid any possible turbulence. Even though we're avoiding it, you could be close enough. We try and go as far away from the cloud as possible, but sometimes even in the clear air here, close to big thunderstorm clouds, you can get turbulence. So when the pilots put this on, just sit down please, put your seatbelts on. They're doing it for your safety. They're doing it for the safety of the aircraft and everybody else, and we hate turbulence just like you do. So we're going around this cloud now. In practice I might even go a little bit further to the left, because that's a little bit close with the wind that's showing now that we're a little bit downwind, so a little bit of this will be coming to the aircraft and might start affecting it. So we might say to ATC, request further left 40 miles left of track. So, and they say ATC approve it, left 40 miles, put that there, and execute. So 40 miles will be over there, or I could simply erase that and say we need to go a little bit further left. I could select heading select and say request heading 030. So I could go there and ATC say 030 heading approved. So I select heading select by pushing that once. It shows heading select, and then I turn this to 030. And I've selected the 030 heading, and the aeroplane is now making a left turn. As you can see there, it's turning left to 030 to give this cloud a wide berth so that we don't get any turbulence. And that's how we manage it. Just sit down, fasten your seatbelt. The pilots are doing their best to make it as comfortable as possible for you. Later.